Just Mercy and Dear Martin. This movie is based on a true story. Just Mercy is a film where a man was falsely accused of murder, even though he was miles away from where the crime happened, and the truck the one and only witness saw him in didn't have a transmission in it, so there was no possible way he could have done it. The court and cops chose to not listen to the testimony of 12 black people from his community because they knew it would contradict their story. Next slide. The directors and scriptwriters handled the story with great respect to really make sure people really got the message of the story. They do a great job of representing the issue with the media, and the information they use in the film seemed very organized and calculated. They even added scary facts about the justice system most people don't know. For example, did you know 1 in 7 death row inmates is found innocent after being found guilty? This is usually because of human bias and human error. This hasn't proved since the movie took place, but typically, officers and lawyers went after people who couldn't defend themselves in court because of the resources available to them. This reminds me of how Jared argued that Justice only got into Yale because of his race and poor social background. And then SJ brought the fact that he had thousands of dollars in education and resources that Justice simply never had access to, meaning he had a head start in life, and that Justice had to work harder to achieve his goals and even be in the same room as Jared. Next slide. In both stories, they deal with racial injustice by cops, discrimination in the justice system, and even false accusations. For example, when Walter McMillian was arrested with no evidence and sent to death row a year before his trial even started. And when Justice was trying to help his intoxicated girlfriend in the car, and a police officer thought he was trying to steal her car, and instead of asking questions, he made up his mind and slammed Justice to the ground, busting up his face and hands. The officer used excessive force and arrested a minor without evidence of a crime being committed. They both faced racial injustices in their lives, but somehow they overcome it, and they did it with the help of their communities. And I think that's one of the most important parts in both their stories, because they had the mental strength and courage to stand up for justice multiple times, even though they were both denied multiple times. They picked themselves up and tried again and again until finally reaching their goals. Next slide. I think this film is very effective because it uses emotion, great cinematics, and colors to represent emotion to the viewer. In the film, they used their community as a way to represent strength in numbers and unity, as Justice did with his mother and friends when he was racially profiled for a crime he too did not commit. I love how this film makes us feel close to the prisoner, Walter McMillian, and his family, to make us feel like we are a part of the story. I think that helps relay the message more. In conclusion, this book and movie are not just about racism and injustices. It's about perseverance, and both characters did that, and I think that's inspiring. Thank you for listening.